The fact is that we're just in the nascent stages of a collaborative revolution. Ideas from Etsy to eBay to Netflix to Streetcar are built on communities of trust. And they're starting to reinvent not just what we consume, but how we consume, and are part of this bigger cultural paradigm shift from a culture of me to a culture of we. Now, when you think about it, over the past decade or so, we've actually wired our world to share. I've been thinking a lot about the digital sharing evolution, and I think I finally simplified it down into 4 key stages. In the first phase, we figured out how to use technology to connect and share information. So think about software code and emails and Wikipedia. In the second phase, we use the same technology to connect or reconnect with people. So think about social networks like MySpace and Facebook. We're just seeing how the third phase, the sharing of music, news, photos, and videos, is reinventing entire industries. Now, what I've seen is that at turbocharged speed, we're actually already entering the 4th phase, where we're using the same technology to connect and share all other kinds of assets. Cars, time, money, and we're not just sharing, we're trading, we're bartering, we're renting. But these very old market behaviors are being reinvented in ways that are relevant for the Facebook age. People often ask me, why now? Why is it emerging now? Well, it actually comes down to 4 key drivers. The first is a renewed belief in the importance of community. Now, if you take a look around you, you've probably noticed there's a resurgence in book clubs, knitting clubs, street parties, community gardens, the return of local shops. These are actually all heartening signs that once again, we're turning to each other. Let's take farmers markets here. The resurgence of farmers markets is, yes, people want fresh local food, but it's also the start of a backlash against mass anonymous produced goods. When I buy a piece of cheese, I want to know the person behind it. I want to know the story behind it. And what I'm actually seeking is participation. When you go to a farmer's market, you have 9 times the amount of conversations than at a traditional supermarket. Now, I know that farmers markets and Facebook may not seem like they have a lot in common, but they actually do. Because what we're trying to do is feed the social self, the side of us that seeks connection and belonging and has actually been numbed out in this massive age of hyper-individualism that we've been living in. And of course, connected to this is a torrent of social technologies. Now, the last 2 factors are big global contextual factors. There's obviously pressing unresolved environmental concerns. Now, I think we all rationally know that a consumer system that is built on selling more stuff is a house of cards. It's all one big Ponzi scheme. And Thomas Friedman put it brilliantly when he said 2008 was when we hit the wall, when Mother Nature and the market both said no more. The 4th driver linked to this is actually a global recession that has shocked consumer behaviors and led to a questioning of the health of the consumer system in all dimensions of the word. I can't turn on the television these days without some debate of happiness. You know, and I was reading the paper this morning about the happiness index, and Joseph Stiglitz, he put it brilliantly when he said, for so many individuals, what's important to them cannot be measured by GDP. So as we start to figure out how we can get off this consumer escalator, I think we're starting to reinvent the meaning of more. And my prediction is that if for the past 50 years, the baby boomers, my parents' generation, were driven by keeping up with the Joneses, our generation is going to be all about getting to know and connecting the Joneses. These 4 drivers are coming together and they're creating this big shift away from the 20th century defined by hyperconsumption towards the 21st century, a new era of collaborative consumption. I actually believe that we're going to look back and we're going to